Thursday. My name is Caitlin and I work with Denver Parks and Recreation out of Outdoor Recreation. And today we are going to be talking about environmental hazards, things that you might encounter if you're going out into the backcountry. And today I'm joined with Carrie here.
Hi everybody, I'm going to talk about our environmental emergencies today. It's alright, hazards, emergencies, all the same thing. So we're going to review some stuff that Caitlin's already talked about in previous videos. And the first thing we're going to talk about is 10 essentials. So today we're going to be going on a big hike. We're in Berkeley Park, but we're going to pretend, so y'all need to bear with us as we bring our best acting skills on our big hike today. So our 10 essentials that we want to bring along. Hold on 1 minute. It won't flip. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Caitlin's the pro at going live. I'm just an amateur at this point. Anyway, we're going to go over 10 essentials. So we have our first aid kit. We have at least 2 liters of water. We also have water purification there. So those iodine tubs, likely on this big hike, we're going to run out of water. And we know there's some water sources along the trail. So we need to have something to purify it with. In Colorado, there's the potential there might not be a water source along the trail, so you might have to start out with more than 2 liters. We have our compass and our map, and we know how to use the compass and the map together. We have P-cord for an emergency. We have a multi-tool. We have a fire starting device there, a lighter or matches, so in an emergency we can start a fire for warmth. We have a headlamp, sunscreen and sunglasses. Our big hike's going to take us above tree line where we're going to have a lot of exposure to the sun, so we want to make sure we're protecting ourselves. We have extra food and we have extra layers. So that's our 10 essentials. Other things that we're going to bring on this hike that we usually carry for outdoor recreation trips, and personally I carry these things when I know we're going to be far away from help that we might need and might need to stay out there on our own. So we have a sleeping bag, we have a sleeping pad, and we also have a waterproof tarp. This is a solar blanket tarp. Great. So other things that we want to do before we leave for the hike is we want to make sure that someone knows where we're going. So we informed our friend today of our route and our proposed time back. So then if we don't get back on time, they know who to call, they know when to call them, and they know where to tell search and rescue or EMS where we went, so help can find us. The other thing we want to do is we want to figure out a way that if we need to communicate from the backcountry that we're able to do that. There's a lot of areas that have cell phone service now, but there's a lot of areas that don't have cell phone service. There's devices on the market that you can carry, such as the Spot or InReach device, which will, based on satellites, will help us communicate if we need help. So we might carry that, or we might also be prepared if someone gets injured to send a runner party to the nearest spots that they can get help. So it might be a little bit of time elapsed after the injury before we can actually alert EMS that we need help. So we are all prepared for this hike. We have everything we need, and we're gonna head out. Caitlin, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did you remember to bring those emergency communication devices?
I did, it's in my pack.
Cool, let's go.
All right. Oh, what a beautiful day for a hike. It's so nice out here in the wilderness.
I love it today. It's great.
Oh no. Oh, Caitlin. Oh, do you see that? Oh no, it's a snake. Oh, it's moving. All right. So this is our first hazard. I knew we were going to find some things out here today. All right. So we should just kind of stay still, give it its space, and hopefully it'll feel us, our vibrations, and it'll move off the trail. It's not doing much now. All right. Oh, good. It's moving along. Hooray. We can continue on. So if that snake didn't move along, we would have the option, if the terrain allows, to give it a wide berth and go around it, but be very careful because there could be other snakes out there, especially if it's in an area with lots of vegetation. So we're going to talk a little more about bites and stings out here. So what we just talked about with snakes is just being aware allowing space and avoiding them. If you keep those things in mind, it's a pretty rare chance you're actually going to get bit by a snake. Usually people who get bit by a snake are trying to touch the snake, catch the snake, move the snake. You want to keep calm. If someone does get bit by the snake, you want to keep them calm and then call EMS and follow their directions to get that person out. If you can identify the snake, that's helpful. If you can't, don't put yourself in danger to identify the snake. Other things might encounter insects, so clothing and bug repellent is going to be key for avoiding insect bites. Also, you may have ticks, so it's important to be aware of the area you're in. We don't have a ton of ticks in Colorado compared to other areas of the country, but they definitely are here, and they do carry infectious diseases. So if you do find yourself having a tick, you're going to remove it at the base, trying to get all parts of the tick out of you, and then clean that area well. And then you're going to monitor yourself for flu-like symptoms in the weeks that follow. You could also potentially get a bullseye rash. Again, not so much in this area of the country. That's indicative of Lyme disease, but in other areas of the country, if you're recreating, you want to be aware of that. And finally, bees or other stinging insects, you want to remove the stinger. You can do that by scraping it with a flat edge like a credit card, try and get all parts of the stinger out. And then monitor for anaphylaxis, especially in people that have a known allergy. And anaphylaxis is swelling, hives, nausea, and difficulty breathing. And if that's the case, hopefully they have their EpiPen and they can self-administer that, and then you evacuate them. If they don't have the EpiPen, you definitely want to notify EMS. All right, we are going to head on along our hike today. Caitlin, how you feeling?
Really great. It's gorgeous out here.
It is gorgeous. Kind of all looks the same right now. All right, how you feeling, Caitlin? Ooh, it's getting pretty hot out here.
What was that?
It's getting a little hot. Oh, you don't look so great.
I don't feel very good.
Are you feeling? All right, how about you come over here in the shade and take a break?
Thirsty and lightheaded.
Oh, do you want to sit down? Do you have water that you can sip?
Yeah, I'm tired too.
All right, can you grab a snack too while you sip your water? We'll take a break while you take care of that. It sounds like you might be dehydrated.
Okay.
All right, we'll check back in a few. So it sounds like Caitlin is suffering from dehydration. So that's just a lack of water. So signs and symptoms are a little SS here. Is thirst, headache, nausea, fatigue, and then yellow urine and infrequent urination. We can try and avoid this by drinking at least 2 liters of water per day, more in our dry, hot climate that we live in, when we're at elevation and when we're doing strenuous things like hiking. So 2 liters the base for like a normal day. You're going to increase that when you're out hiking, doing active things. We also want to make sure we're consuming electrolytes. So snacking, salty snacks, even an electrolyte additive to our water like a Gatorade or something commercial like that will really help us. It's really important. We always have family and friends visiting us out here in Colorado. So it's really important to remind your visitors to hydrate, hydrate, hydrate if you're going to be going out hiking with them. They're not acclimated to this environment, so they're going to be really susceptible to dehydration. You feeling better?
Much better.
All right, I'm going to talk about a few more things and then we'll continue on our hike. So related to dehydration, in hotter climates or hotter days can be heat exhaustion. I'm sorry, we got a shadow on there. But heat exhaustion is dehydration and salt loss due to excess sweating. So what that looks like is the person's going to be pale, they're going to have cool, clammy skin, and they're going to have those signs and symptoms of dehydration. This is a treatable condition. So we're going to do the same thing we did for dehydration. Rest in a cool place, treat like dehydration. They're going to sip that water. They're going to eat that salty snack, hang out there until they start feeling better. Probably, at least 30 minutes, maybe longer. And then resume activities cautiously, continue to keep them hydrated, and monitor them. Because if left untreated, this can go down the spectrum to heat stroke, which is a life-threatening illness. And heat stroke is when your body's sweating function is no longer working. So sweating is what keeps us cool, what cools us off through evaporative cooling. So if your sweating function isn't working, you're going to have an increase in your core body temperature. And your sweating function cannot work for two reasons. Either one, you're dehydrated, you don't have anything left to sweat out, or two, you're in a really humid environment, you're sweating, but it's not evaporating from your skin because the air is really humid. That's not usually the case here, where we're in a dry climate. Signs and symptoms of this: red hot skin, can be either dry or wet depending on what's going on with that sweating function. The big one here is your level of consciousness is impaired. So this person's just going to seem off, and that's going to progress and get worse when it's left untreated. So they might be disoriented, confused, combative, hallucinations, things like that. We really need to treat this seriously, and we need to rapidly cool them and alert EMS and figure out the best way to evac them. So rapidly cooling means dunking them in a stream if you have it, or throwing water on them and fanning them, getting them in the shady spot, massaging their limbs, so that's going to promote blood flow to the surface, and it's going to cool them down. All right, Caitlin, are you feeling good?
Feeling good, yeah.
All right, well, we're doing great out here. The weather, you know, it's looking good. We're closing in about that noon time, and here in Colorado, we probably should start being aware, watching out for thunderstorms. But this is a beautiful hike. I'm so glad we get out here and do this today.
Rumble, rumble, rumble.
Oh no, I think I heard it. Oh shoot. So did you hear that?
I did.
Yeah, okay, I think we should stay where we are. We're not above tree line yet. We're in a relatively safe area. Do you want to just take a little break?
Yeah.
All right.
Flash.
Oh no, it was lightning. I'm going to start counting. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000.
While you do that, I think I'm going to put my rain jacket on. It looks like these clouds are moving in.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Put on some layers.
Boom!
Oh, okay, that was about 40 seconds between the flash and the boom. I think we should still definitely wait it out where we are. We definitely don't want to walk any higher or get above tree line.
Flash!
1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000.
Boom!
Oh no! All right, that was about 5 seconds. That storm is right on us. I think we need to separate now and get into lightning position.
Oh man, so lightning position, if you have a sleeping pad, you're going to want to use this, because with lightning position, we're going to check our areas, make sure that we're not by any tall trees, and all we want to do is get down and low and stay as compact as possible. So if you are able, oh no, boom, flash, if you're able to have your feet just on tippy toes, that's ideal. However, this storm might happen for a while, so we're gonna go ahead and take a seated position and get our feet as close to our bottom as possible, and just stay down in this position as long as our storm comes through. Whew.
That's an awesome lightning position. I'm spread out over here too. I think it's starting to rain a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think so too. That's a downpour. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Wow, Caitlin, you got soaked.
Yep, I sure did. Good thing I had my rain jacket on.
Well,
Whew.
it looks like the storm's passing. We'll probably wait it out for at least 20 to 30 more minutes where we are.
Okay.
And then we'll continue on.
Cool.
I can talk about lightning while we wait. That was so weird, Caitlin, that only you got wet. What an isolated shower. So lightning, this is something we deal with a lot in Colorado in the summer months. Sorry, I'm trying to find a place to put this. So this is a little diagram of our mountain and the environment that we might find ourselves in, and it's some good places to be and some less good places to be. So lightning's pretty unpredictable, so we can't say with any certainty that there's a absolute safe place when we're outdoors, but there are some places that are relatively safe or more safe than others. So The red X's are places we definitely don't want to be, and the blue X's are places that are relatively safe. So when you start at the bottom here, we have the person in the canoe. We want to avoid being in the middle of a lake during a lightning storm. You're the highest thing around, and you're susceptible to lightning. The next one we have here is a tall tree, a lone tall tree. Again, we want to avoid being under that. That can conduct lightning really well. Out here, standing in the middle of an open meadow, you want to avoid. You don't want to be the tallest thing around. And then here, up here on this ridge above tree line, would be really exposed to lightning. And then the tallest part of the summit of the mountain is going to be a really bad place to be. This little place is kind of interesting. This is a shallow cave, again, or an overhang. Might seem like a safe place because you might be sheltered from rain, but if the lightning were to strike up here and then it travels through the ground, it'll jump the entrance of the cave here, and then if you're standing in that, it could come right through you too. So those are the places we want to avoid. Places that are a little more safe or relatively safe are evenly spaced stands of trees. So we have this nice forest down here. We have one over here. Even as we go up the mountain, if we're still, below tree line, not exposed, that could be a relatively safe place to be. And then we have this deep cave, not terribly common in Colorado, but if it's a deep cave and when you're standing in it, you're not in the point where the lightning is going to jump from one end to the other, that could be a relatively safe place to be too. So just be aware, know the forecast, and then be aware of your surroundings and look at the sky and listen while you're out there. All right, it seems like we're getting close to the summit here. I think it's in view.
Oh, it's so close.
So close, Caitlin. What a crazy day we've had out here. I've never had all of this stuff happen at once.
It's pretty crazy. Man, my hands are pretty cold.
I know, you're still really wet. Whew. Ooh, we're above tree line now. It's sunny, but it is windy and it's getting cold up here. But look, we're so close.
We're getting there.
Oh, all this hard work has paid off. Woo! Oh, look at that view. All right, this is a great place to have a snack and sit down and hydrate. Woo!
Yeah. Woo. Oh, man.
What a great day. How are you feeling?
Kind of cold.
Yeah, you seem a little cold, a little off. You're a little shivery. Maybe we shouldn't stay here and eat. How about let's go to a place that's a little more sheltered from the wind. I think you're starting to get cold. Maybe get hypothermic.
Oh.
You want to come over here? Oh, there's a nice big rock. Here, I can. Caitlin, do you want to maybe put some dry layers on? Get some food and water. Okay. And then once you're in dry layers, let's get moving again.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Uh-huh.
All right, awesome. I'll keep an eye on you. So it seems like Caitlin might be suffering from some hypothermia. We probably didn't make the best decision to stop on the summit and have our snack while she was soaking wet from that storm. So next time we'll avoid doing that. I want to talk a little bit about hypothermia to kind of round this session out. Hypothermia. So it's a cooling of the body's core temperature. And what you saw with Caitlin there is pretty common with mild hypothermia. She started to shiver. She was a little withdrawn. People can be a little grouchy, just kind of not acting like themselves. And then other things that we can classify as the umbles, so words ending in umble. So stumble, mumble, fumble, like fumbling with a zipper, bumbling around. They just start to lose their motor skills, and they can't really do things as well as they could. So if left untreated, hypothermia can get really bad, and it can lead to death. So we want to be able to recognize it and treat it. So we had Caitlin remove her wet layers and replace with those warm, dry layers. She's going to eat food so we can get that internal furnace started, get energy to make that heat, and she's going to move. So we're going to continue hiking down. If she is to the point where she can't walk on her own anymore, we can get her in a sheltered area and put her in a hypo wrap. So what this looks like, oh, there it is. We have our sleeping pad so that'll insulate her from the ground. Our sleeping bag, and then we have that wind waterproof layer. We're gonna wrap her up in there like a burrito, give her maybe an external heat source if we have a way to make warm water, put a warm water bottle in there, and keep her sheltered so she can warm up again. All right, thank you so much for joining us today for Environmental Emergencies.
Thanks, Carrie. So again, folks, thank you for joining us for our outdoor recreation presentation today. My name is Caitlin, this is Carrie, and we are from Outdoor Rec with Denver Parks and Rec. And if you liked today's episode, go ahead and give us a thumbs up so we know that you're out there. And also, we are doing programming on Instagram, so go ahead and follow us at it is Denver Parks Rec, all one word, lowercase. Again, that's Denver Parks Rec. And if you are enjoying our shows, we have our next one coming up on Saturday at 2 p.m. I'm going to go over some ideas of how to kind of reinvent s'mores and do some gourmet s'mores, a bunch of different flavors. So go ahead and join us at 2 o'clock on Saturday. And go ahead to denvergov.org/recreation, and you can find our whole listing of our programs that we're doing online from other departments as well. Thanks again for joining us. As always, have fun and be safe.
I have one thing to add before we go. When we resume programming, whenever that is, in person, we offer a 2-day wilderness first aid course, which covers this stuff in way more in depth and a lot of other topics. So if this is interesting to you, please join us in the future for that. Have a great weekend.
All right, thanks y'all. Have fun.